destroy every proud obstacles that keeps people from knowing God. We capture their rebellious thoughts and teach them to obey Christ Jesus.
By the way, Ikra, I actually know why he chose this topic. Very
Why is
easy.
it, Hassan? Why is it, Hassan? Are you
Okay.
looking ahead of Prophet
So,
Muhammad and Allah?
I mean, here's the thing,
Do you
Nazarene.
foresee
See,
things
I'll tell you
ahead
this,
of it?
Nazarene. I'll tell you this right now.
No. Why did I
I'm
pick
not
this
like
topic? Tell
Nazarene. Real
me.
quick, hold on.
Enlighten me,
No. What
brother.
you're trying to
Enlighten me.
do, you're trying to use
So, do you think that he is not
gaslighting
a?
and a
Do
bunch
you
of
think he
other
is not a
things
good
in the
prophet,
context
brother?
of trying to ask a
You
question.
guys,
But
let
just wait your
Hassan
turn.
respond, and then you can go after Nazareth. I
Okay.
understand that we're going
Because
to have.
he's already has, I can already tell what kind of person I'm dealing with.
Yeah, well, just let him get it out.
Quite easy to read,
Yeah,
Nazarene. But anyway,
just let him get it out, and then you can respond. This way, we can. With you guys talking over each other, it's hard for me to understand.
okay. So what he's going to try to do, because of the fact that if I use the whole Christian tradition, it's not going to work in his favor. So he's trying to use one particular relatively minor figure who was involved in missionary work and, relatively speaking, a pacifist, to compare to somebody who was a civilization builder, essentially. Because of the fact that Paul, he had no political power whatsoever, so he simply did not have the means to, he did not have the means to raise armies or fight in conflicts or fight pitched battle. So he's going to try to use the instances of where war was fought and where pitched battles were fought, and the end results of wars and conflicts and pitched battles, as a means to try to define moral good and moral right and moral wrong. And what he's going to do also, I can already tell.
Are we already
I
going to have a
I
debate?
can't say the matter of when in particular, but he's going to try to use a variety of logical fallacies. He's going to use the historian's fallacy sometime in that argument.
Are you already
It's
running
not
away,
a matter of
Hassan?
if, it's a matter of when.
All right, well, let him respond to that a little bit, and then you can respond afterwards.
So Hassan is pre-assuming that this is what I'm going to do, but I think Hassan is ashamed of his own prophet's morality, because no prophet in the history has ever had a sexual intercourse with a 9-year-old child. Hassan is already ashamed of his prophet, of all the ghazwas that he has done, of raiding and looting and raping women, and then allowing rape in Quran, foreseeing, or he is actually thinking that this is from Allah, basically his God, who is allowing all of this in his own text. He is already ashamed of his own prophet, who built up this whole false religion, which Bible already predicts that there will be a false prophet who will be coming in, who will be denying the gospel, who will be denying the true message of the apostles, and then who will be building up this cult based on sexualization. Have n number of sex, have multiple wives, have n number of concubines, you can rape women, you can have sexual intercourse with children based on Quran 65 verse 4, and so on and so forth. So Hassan is predicting, oh, this is what I'm going to bring in. No, I'm not, Hassan. You don't know me, Hassan. So don't predict things. And I know that you are ashamed of your. I'm not done yet.
Nazarene, the funny thing is, this is
Hassan,
going
I
to be a
know you
lot
are
easier than
ashamed
I
of
expected.
any Muslim that I have spoken to. He is ashamed of his own prophet and all of the nonsense that he has done over the period of time, claiming that his God has allowed all of this, that he is a big warlord, he was a big leader or something like that. No, he was not. He was not anything. He was nothing. People allowed him to live. The people of Medina allowed him to live there. And what did he do? When he grew in numbers, when he chopped off their heads, when he chopped off the heads of the people who gave him food, gave him water, and so on and so forth, what did he do? He became a gang leader. He became a gang leader and built up the whole narrative that he is a prophet. Who made him a prophet? Who made Muhammad a prophet? Tell me, Hassan, who made Muhammad a prophet? In his first encounter, when the person, the deity who came and choked him, did he ever said that I am Angel Gabriel? No, he did not. Did he ever said that I am from Allah? No, he did not. So then you are assuming these are the things that I'm going to bring. I am not. You have no idea what I'm going to bring. You follow a false prophet,
Yeah, I
and
actually
you are
do. I'm
ashamed
just
of
wait,
his morality.
Nazarene.
You are ashamed of his
I'm
morality, and
letting
that's
you
why you
just
think,
talk.
oh, Paul and Muhammad is
Because
not a
I
good
what
comparison.
because this is gonna help me
Hassan,
help you
Paul
dig your
and
own
Muhammad
grave.
is not a good.
And another thing, Nazarene. Here's
Hassan,
another
do you want to
thing.
have a debate? You want to
You're
have a
not going to
debate?
be
Tell me
able
when.
to wait. Hold on. Here's the thing.
Hassan, do
Okay,
you want to have a
hold
debate?
on.
When do you want to
Nazarene,
do it?
Nazarene,
Hassan,
Nazarene. Hold
you
on. I
want to
let you
have a
speak.
debate? When do you
I
want to
let
do
you
it?
speak, Nazarene. Hold on. I let you.
Hassan,
One person to speak for you.
Yes, guy. If you guys want to fight 5 minutes, 2 minutes, it seems like the debate just start, right?
I mean,
It seems
the thing is,
I'm okay to do
it
that.
would be
Let's do
better to
that.
do it on a weekend because
Let's
I
do it
want a
right
nice
now.
long
Let's do
debate
it right now.
because I want to bleed Nazarene absolutely
Let's do
dry.
it right now,
I would
Hassan.
love to
I will
bleed you
make
dry.
you run.
It would
I
be
will make
wonderful.
your
No,
prophet lick the
Nazarene,
black stone right now.
You won't.
I
I
will
can
make you
already
lick
tell
the
by the
black
arguments that
stone
you're
right
using
now.
and
Brothers,
the amount of
brothers,
logical
Brother,
brothers.
fallacies that you're
There is
I
using.
will
there is
make
no
you lick the
brother
black
Hold
Hassan
on,
stone
and
right
brother
now.
Nazarene.
Wait, hold on.
Brother Hassan.
All right, all right. We're not going to keep talking over each other. I want to hear both sides equally. So this is where we're going to. Are we going to do this debate tonight? That's what I want to hear first, which is fine. If we're going to do it, great. But let's do one at a time. Let's go ahead, Hassan. For you got 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll go over to Nazarene to respond.
No, if it's a debate, let it go
Okay.
as per a structure.
Okay,
Are
so
we
what
going
Let
he
to
did.
someone go for a
Yeah.
presentation and
Okay. So I was gonna say,
yeah, let them
I
go
was
by a
gonna expect
structure.
you more as a place to discuss the conditions for upcoming one, but that's fine. That's fine. When it comes to this issue, he's trying to say, "Oh, that I'm afraid of that I'm afraid or I'm ashamed." No, I'm not afraid or ashamed.
Hassan,
Quite
do you want to
frankly,
do it right
I
now?
see these
Yes or
things,
no?
Nazarene. I
Please
see
tell me.
these things as a reality in
Do
the
you want to
context
do
of
it? Yes or
conquest.
no?
Because in the fact, no, what you're no,
Don't try
it's
to
my
run.
turn to speak, Nazarene. It's my
Do you
turn to
want to
speak.
do it right now? Are we
This
having a
isn't,
debate right now?
bro.
Yes or
This is,
no?
dude. Stop.
Come on, Nazarene. Snippy, give the parameter. He has a 3 minute. Let him speak his 3 minute, and then you can say what you can rebuttal after 3 minutes. But it's not really very civil. Then you cut him off in his time. If you wanna listen to him, he has a 3 minute, and then Snippy is looking the time. Once he's done, we will allow him to let you speak, and then Sneaky. I don't want any other speaker here. It's just between Hassan and the Nazarene. You and I are co-hosts. We don't want anybody to jump in between these two people. So we have a warrior. You gotta drop him down. It's just Hassan, Nazarene. We co-hosting just to moderate the debate and to be fair and not take any side, not to be biased. Okay, you can go, Hassan.
Thank you. Because what he's trying to do, it's a well-known tactic. What he's trying to do is trying to use something called the machine gun fallacy. And what it is that he's trying to ask a bunch of questions. They're usually primarily in the form of loaded questions, as a means to try to smokescreen himself, and the context of it being an actual argument. But that being said, he was also trying to use gaslighting, which is kind of strange because here's the thing, Nazarene. Gaslighting doesn't work on me. Matter of fact, gaslighting has the exact opposite effect on me. So that's a big fail on your part. Another thing to add, aside from, the amount of fallacious logic you're using, is this. No, I'm not ashamed of any of these things. Because of the fact of the matter is that when it came to his marriage to Aisha, it's not even a moral issue. It's an anthropological one. Matter of fact, she even said that when it came to the age of 9, when a woman reaches the age of 9, and this is narrated herself, and it is classified as sahih, if when a woman reaches the age of 9 and she hits maturity, she is a woman. And this is according to her own statements, by the way. And you find this in Sunan al-Tirmidhi and the section of Bab al-Nikah. And this is in hadith number 1027, depending on what edition you are reading from. Not to mention the fact that it's known that she was known to be an individual that was quite tall for somebody of that age. But I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to skip right over to the anthropological and evolutionary biological standpoint. If we look at, for example, the statements from scientists like Christopher Vaniek, who say, and I quote, girls might enter full-blown puberty anytime between ages 9 and 15. And this is speaking strictly from a biological and anthropological standpoint. Also, another thing, in another medical journal by Volume 1 by Lord and Bransby, published in 1988 on page 563, and it states, in hotter countries, women mature earlier. The average temperature of a country or province is considered the chief factor here, not only with regards to menstruation, but as regards to the whole sexual development at puberty. Let's keep going. If we look at medical journals within Europe, for example, even in Europe, there's no, when it comes to the issue of age of consent and morality, we mentioned the fact that there's like globally, even in the Western countries, it's not even unified. Now let's take this with you. Take this home, Mr. Nazarene. Let's talk about the fact that why is it that Rebecca was 3 years old when she was engaged. Nazarene.
3 minutes. 3
Nazarene,
minutes.
see, you're
Time.
panicking.
Time. Snippy, it is time. 3 minutes.
Let's talk about
Time.
Ikra, you did that one. Go ahead and speak.
Okay. It is my time now?
Yeah, it was almost
It's your
up.
time.
Anyways, I was keeping an eye on it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let Ikra interrupt the other Muslim, and then for time, I'm gonna interrupt you to try to keep it even. Let him finish. He's got another 20 seconds, and then we're gonna go over to Nazarene. Go ahead, Hassan. 20 seconds. You should be unmuted.
It was a double mute.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, he asked, and I could already tell that Nazarene is starting to panic. Let's take this home. He would then have to figure out the moral conundrum of Isaac marrying Rebecca when she was 3 years old, and Isaac was 40 years old. And in case he wants to disagree with that, I can bring statements in our next section where I go over the rabbis that spoke on this. For example, Rashi, and as well as a few others that said that she was 3 years old, and they also make Talmudic
we're gonna go
and
over
legal rulings saying that.
Nazarene.
Can I just finish the last sentence?
Go ahead.
Okay, and they made Talmudic rulings regarding the issue of marital consent.
Go ahead, Hassan, let him go so you have your chance maybe next time to just
Yeah, I know,
bring
but
your
usually in debates they let the person finish their sentence.
finish
Yeah,
sentence.
yeah,
Okay, go ahead,
and
finish
that's
that
all.
sentence.
That's all.
Okay, sorry, my bad. Go ahead, finish the sentence.
Okay, but yeah. But considering the fact that due to the fact that Nazarene is already in a state of panic and it hasn't even been 10 minutes in the discussion, I'd like to see what fallacious arguments he's going to try to use next, because of the fact that he's not going to be able to defend this without condemning his own text or using a logical fallacy of some sort. So go ahead, Nazarene. The ball is in your corner.
So, Snippy, I have 4 minutes now?
You can have an extra minute because of that. Go ahead.
So I'll start for 4 minutes now. Okay. So did you guys hear how he was defending the child abuse that has happened with Aisha? He said, oh, Aisha was tall and Aisha was very grown up. This is the character of Islam. This is how Islam tries to defend pedophilia. In Sunan an-Nasai 3378, it says that Muhammad consummated the marriage when she was 9, and Aisha herself is saying that I used to play with dolls. Women are not allowed with the dolls if they have reached puberty. Aisha was playing with her dolls when Muhammad had intercourse with her. Okay, Sahih al-Bukhari 6130 narrated Aisha is saying, I used to play with dolls in the presence of the Prophet, and my girlfriends also used to play with me. When Allah's messenger used to enter, they used to hide themselves, but the Prophet would call them to join and play with me. She was a child when Muhammad, the 53-year-old man, had intercourse with a 9-year-old child. Nine 9-year-old child. She was not grown up. She was not even, capable enough to handle this kind of a penetration. She could not. And I'll give you the evidence for that also. Sunan Ibn Majah 3324, and my dear warrior and Jace will post these references. Sunan Ibn Majah 3324, it says like this. Aisha is narrating, my mother was trying to fatten me up when she wanted to send me to the Messenger of Allah, because her mother knew that she is weak, she is a child. She will not be able to handle a grown up man having intercourse with this child. So it says like this, my mother was trying to fatten me up when she wanted to send me to the Messenger of Allah when she got married. But nothing worked until I ate cucumbers with dates. Then I grew plump, like the best kind of a plump. So she was not even capable enough physically to handle such kind of an intercourse, which Allah allowed. Allah is allowing intercourse with children who have not yet menstruated in Quran chapter 65, verse number 4. Those who have not yet menstruated, the waiting period for next nikah is what? 3 months. Those who have not yet menstruated, Islam will allow having sexual intercourse with little children who have not yet menstruated. Now look at how they want to hide the pervertness, the sexual immorality of their prophet by jumping into Bible. Such a weak argument you have brought in. What did he say? Oh, Isaac married a 3-year-old child, Rebecca. I don't know if where did you read it from, but Rashi, Talmudic Rashi is not my reference point. My reference point is Bible. My reference point is Bible. What does the Bible say about this? Oh, Bible clearly gives a reference that in Genesis chapter 24, verse 45, Rebecca gave water to at least 10 camels, 10 camels before she got married to Isaac. Rebecca drew water for 10 camels. Can a 3-year-old child go down deep into the well, pull the water and give water to the camels? That is the weakest of argument that you have brought. And one Rashi did not even say that she was 3-year-old child. You have to bring that evidence. He did not say 3-year-old child. Rashi has referred that Isaac waited for 3 years. Waited for 3 years. Okay, so you should be ashamed of defending your false prophet by jumping into the Bible and accusing Rebecca that she was 3-year-old. She was not.
Your time is up.
Thank you.
He can go ahead and bring whatever evidence and respond to that.
Okay. I noticed how instead of him actually bothering to refute any of the other claims that I
I'm gonna give
made.
you 4 minutes. Also, we're just gonna. That seems
Okay.
like a decent time, and I'll try to remind you at the 3-minute mark. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, in regards to that, I've noticed that my interlocutor here, he really failed to refute any of the other points that I made. So this is just going to be quite simple. In terms of the sources used, which we'll call it, if I may begin on that. If we find it in the section in the Talmud Nida in 44b, where it's talking about in the ruling, a Mishnah, a girl who was 3 years and 1 day old, whose father arranged her betrothal, is betrothed through intercourse, as the halachic status of intercourse with her is that of intercourse in all the halachic senses. And in a case where the childless husband of a girl is 3 years and 1 day old dies, if his brother of the Yavam engages in intercourse with her, he acquires her as his wife. And if she is married, a man other than her husband is liable for engaging in intercourse with her due to violation of the prohibition against intercourse with a married woman. Now, moving on to that, moving on to that, when we're talking about the issue, about the situation of where he cited the situation of her playing with dolls, it was referring to that in the past tense, not in the present tense. Moving on to that, as I may, one moment here. I'm going to get the citation because regarding the issue, the understanding of, I believe he said chapters, what was it, 64 verse, what was it, chapter 64, 46 verse what? Because it cut out a lot of times in
You
the
can
audio.
respond to that, Nazarene. Go ahead.
Yeah. What was the citation you used
65,
again?
65
So
Surah
I don't want to
Al-Talaq,
misquote you
65
here.
verse number 4.
65 verse
65 verse
4?
number 4. Yes.
Okay. All right. So yeah, in regards to that, if I may, I'd be willing to allow to have Nazarene do have a few minutes more in this, because I'm going to be quoting from a text in regards to the theological understanding of 65 verse 4 and the rulings around it. I'm going to be quoting from Al-Shafi'i's book Al-Minhaj and the rulings associated with it, because I'm quite familiar, but it's going to take a while. If that's okay with the interlocutor and the moderators.
I'm good with that as long as Nazarene is good with that.
Nazarene,
I'm just waiting for the time to be up. Then it is
I'm
my time to
asking if
respond.
you're all right with that.
It looks like he wants to stick to the 4 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and do that. We'll just keep going back and forth. You got 2 more minutes.
This is why I said in the beginning of having like a 10 or a 15 minute.
Yeah, we didn't even do the opening statements. Do you want to do opening statements?
Well, yeah, I'm not even sure what we're doing at this point, but
we're just kind of letting it go where it goes, because that's kinda
yeah,
how it's flowing.
I mean, because yeah, I understand, but these things take a long time. All right. So that being said, though, hold on, let me get it for you guys. Do you guys want me to post it in the Jumbotron or?
You're more than welcome to post whatever you want up there.
Okay, real quick, like for the judges, do you? I'm not worried about Ikra, but the other guy, does your computer or phone or tablet automatically translate languages and what on websites?
Mine does.
Does it
I got to
automatically
click
do?
a button for it.
Okay, no problem. When it comes to the issue of the verse that he's referring to, because it's the verse is referred to is known as Ayat al-Idda, right?
Time.
So, and in
4 minutes.
of course.
Yeah, well, we had a little bit back
He's-
and forth, so I'm going to give him another 30 seconds, and then we'll go over to you, okay?
Okay. All right. So that being said, that from the quote, all right, Ibn Qudama in his book Al-Mughni, he said that it's not for anyone other than the father, meaning no one other than the father has the right to force the major woman nor to marry the minor woman. So it's not a situation of rape here, as he was like to mention. Not to mention the other ones who held this viewpoint, or were amongst the Sahaba, where it was Al-Hassan, Umar ibn al-Khattab, and amongst the Tabi'un, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, Taus, Qatada, Ibn Shu'buruma, and as well as the great scholar Imam al-Awza'i, as well as Abu Hanifa, when it came to the issue of this idea of forcing yourself, or having it be a forced marriage or a forced betrothal. And that being said, and this is the last sentence, okay. So when it comes to the issue of intercourse, right? And this is where I'm quoting from Al-Minhaj, or the collection from Imam al-Shafi'i. It says that the people of Ahl al-Sunnah, by ijma', which is unanimous theological agreement on the permissibility of marriage contract it's regarding the issue of without intercourse with a young girl. And they also unanimously agreed on the impermissibility of
Hassan.
enjoying a young wife until she is able to have intercourse. And that having intercourse with a young girl is known to be ugly in the religion of Islam by necessity and a rational
All right.
institution, and no one
We're,
would be able to do it except someone who is unjust in himself, bold upwards to his Lord, deserving of punishment, shameless, impudent, and with an invert nature.
we're gonna
So
go
yeah,
over
it
to
condemns people
we're
who
gonna go
actually
over the
have
Nazarene.
who have. All right. Well, I didn't even finish the
So,
sentence. It's a long
Snippy,
paragraph.
Snippy,
Because you're
am I
way
going to
over
have
Well,
the
it's
5 minutes?
yeah,
Because
but
you're
it's
Am
a
I
way
going
long
to
over
have
your
five
paragraph.
time.
You
That's
minutes?
could have
why.
allowed me.
Am I going to have
Okay.
5 minutes now?
What do we have to do? If Hassan needed more time to finish
Well,
I'm
Nazareth,
I'm
quoting
we're
okay
because
gonna we're gonna
as
That's
we're
long
not
gonna
my
okay,
problem.
Iqra,
as
because
long as Nazarene is
I'm
okay
quoting
with
from
it. I'm
Kitab
okay
al
with it as
Minhaj.
well.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm quoting
I
from the
understand. Like
Kitab al Minhaj. It's a long
That's
paragraph.
No,
not
and I get
that's not
that.
my problem.
But if
no,
we set
that's what
time
I was
limits, we
saying.
kind
So
of, and I
And
have
this,
been, if we set time limits, we kind of need to try to stay on it. I don't mind going over a little bit
yes,
either way, as long as you guys are okay with it. But I'm trying to also keep it equal.
yes, and maybe what I'm suggesting when there is a question coming, maybe you need more time to respond. Let's see how Hassan respond. Whatever Hassan added, if he's had a 2 minute or 1 minute, the next speaker will have that minute. You see, we start with two, two, three, three. Now we're going to 4, 4.
Yeah,
If they need
I'm good
more
with that
time
as
to go
long as
ahead and
Mathers
explain,
is
then
okay
yeah.
with that. That's my only issue.
Are you okay with that, Nazareth?
I'm going to respond 5 minutes right now. This is my 5 minutes of rebuttal, Ikra.
No, we ask you a question.
No, I'm going to
okay,
respond 5 minutes and respond back to Hassan's all of the things that he have said.
go
Then we will
7 minutes.
address them. Okay,
Nazarene, go 7.
okay, Ikra. No, I'm not going to. I don't want it. 7 minutes. I don't need it even.
All right,
5 minutes, and I'm
you
going
will
to start.
in due time. Nazarene, you will in
Hassan,
due time.
Hassan, I'm not talking to you, Hassan. I'm not even talking to you. I'm talking to Snippy right
Let's
now.
just hear Hassan.
Hassan,
Let's
I'm
go ahead
going.
and give him his 5 minutes, and we'll go from there.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
Wonderful.
good.
Wonderful. So, did you guys see how Hassan cowardly he jumped into Talmud? Talmud is not even a reference point for me. I am not a Jew. I am a Christian. I don't even care what a nonsense the Talmud says. I care about what the Bible says. And Bible clearly states that Rebecca, before she was being married to Isaac, in Genesis chapter 24, verse number 45, she is where you if you read the whole chapter in Genesis 24, you can see that Rebecca went on and drew water for at least 10 camels. Can a 3-year-old child draw water for 10 camels? And if you read the whole passage after Genesis, you will see that she was not a child, that she was a woman. She is giving a consent. Unlike Aisha, because in the Hadith it says that Aisha had no idea what was happening to her, that why her mother, dressed her up, why her mother is taking her to all of these things that are happening. Okay. The other thing, he said that, oh, she was not playing with the dolls. No, she was playing with dolls. Aisha was playing with her dolls when the whole intercourse has happened. When she was 9 years old, she was still playing with the dolls. Sahih Muslim 1422c. Aisha reported that Allah's apostle married her when she was 7 years old, and he was taken, and she was taken to his house as a bride when she was 9, and her dolls were with her and her dolls were with her. She was still playing with her dolls. She was not even physically capable of having sexual intercourse with a 53-year-old man. The 53-year-old man basically molested this child, and this child had no idea what is happening. She did not even know why this is happening, and because she was so much frustrated, the whole situation was so bad that Aisha, when she was in Muhammad's house, she started having her hairs falling down. Her hairs were falling down, and this is in Sahih Muslim 1422a. Aisha reported, Allah's messenger married me when I was 6 years old, and I was admitted to his house at the age of 9. She further said, we went to Medina and I had an attack of fever for a month. For a month she had fever, and her hair had come down to the earlobe. Okay. And the other thing that Hassan said that, oh, Quran chapter 65, verse number 4, there are certain scholars who are saying, oh, there is a consent and all of this. No consent. Children are not even asked for a consent. My dear brother Warrior and Jayas, he will post all of the scholars, who have given definitions for these. First scholar that I appeal to is Ibn Abbas. You can see in the chat and you can take notes. Quran chapter 65, verse number 4, it clearly mentions that Muhammad has been asked, and a person is asking, okay, another man asked, "O Messenger of Allah, what about the waiting period for those who do not have menstruation because they are too young, because they are little children?" Muhammad and his companions have little children whom they wanted to have sexual intercourse with for the next nikah. One nikah is already done. They have been divorced. Now they are waiting for the next nikah. And Muhammad is saying their waiting period is also 3 months. That is Ibn Abbas. I'm quoting the second scholar. That is Jalal al-Jalalain. Quran chapter 65, verse number 4. The commentary from Jalal al-Jalalain. It says, and those of your women who no longer expect to menstruate, if you have any doubts about their waiting period, their prescribed period shall be 3 months. And for those who have not yet menstruated because of their young age, Hassan, listen to this carefully, young age. In Shia Islam, even a child below the age of 9, she can be molested by, the husband can penetrate between the thighs. It is called as mufakata. It's also part of Islam. In Sunni Islam, after 9 years of age, you can penetrate this child. She has not yet menstruated. So, Jalalain is saying that their period shall be 3 months for those who have not yet menstruated. Remember, a 6 or a 7 or a 8 or a 9-year-old child does not get menstruation. Aisha did not have her menstruation. Now I'm quoting one more scholar, that is Kathir ibn Kathir. Quran chapter 65, verse number 4, and Warrior is going to post that screenshot. You will see that screenshot in the chat, that what Ibn Kathir is going to say. Ibn Kathir is one of the greatest scholars of Islam. What he is going to say, I have a list of scholars who agree with this. Not even a single scholar would disagree that it is not talking about children who have not yet menstruated. Quran chapter 65, verse number 4, idda of those in menopause and those who do not have menses. In that particular portion, if you go down, you will see the same for young who have not yet reached the age of menstruation. Their waiting period is also 3 months. Islam is the only religion that allow to molest little children. The Bible does not give you that authority. The Bible is very clear. He
You got one more
appealed
minute,
to,
Nazarene.
he tried to accuse Bible by saying, oh, Rebecca was 3-year-old child and you got exposed again. Why is it that every single time when I'm having a debate with Muslim, out of ignorance, without even reading the scripture, they go ahead and keep on appealing to Talmud. Talmud is not the reference point for me. Bible is, and Bible is clearly stating Rebecca was not, but Aisha had intercourse with a small little child who was not even at the age of menstruation playing with dolls. Thank you.
Go ahead, Hassan.
By the way, in terms of the citations, I produced that in the comments because his friends were constantly lying, as well as a variety of other things. That being said, though, regarding the issue of the marriages, here, let me post that for you for which we call it for Nazarene, since he doesn't actually know the Old Testament that well. It should come in the next 15 to 20 seconds. And it talks about the age, and it breaks down the ages by going through a series of verses. So yes, it does not specifically say that in a verse that she was 3 years old, but it doesn't. But it's understood in the terms of going through the verses and talking about timelines. That being said, I challenge Nazarene and any one of his Christian friends, his Protestant friends, to find any type of Bible verse that talks about a minimum age. It doesn't exist. In order for him to even get around it, he would have to either misconstrue a verse or resort to presentism, because that's generally how the way these people are. Now, regarding the issue of ijma and consensus, I also produced that as well. If you look at the front header in the jumbotron, I actually gave a link to the fatwa where the quotes from texts were mentioned. And for example, Al-Mukhdi was quoted, which is considered a magnum opus text for people who studied the Hanbali school of Islamic law. Not to mention, as well as the text Al-Minhaj, which is one of the texts used by people from the Shafi'i school to study in regards to studying Islamic law in accordance to that. And they quote companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when it comes to this. And not to mention the fact, if we go further, right, he avoided so much because he knows he wouldn't be able to handle addressing all of these points one by one. So instead, he responds by using shotgun tactics, by using a variety of verses in order as attempt to overwhelm me due to the lack of time. Hence why I said using more time, and he's afraid of having longer time constraints because that will force him into a corner. That being said, however, let's all go over a variety of historical accounts when it came to the issue of uh, of youth marriage. If I may, if I can have an extra, how many minutes do I have? Because I'm bringing all of these things.
You got about a minute and a half more.
Okay, because he also misquoted a variety of things. He can't even. I can tell that he's never actually even read the text that he's quoting. It's Tafsir ibn Kathir, by the way, and it's Tafsir Jalalain. It's not Jalal al-Jalalain. Okay? For once, actually bother to buy the books and read them. Because, matter of fact, I have Ibn Kathir in the full volume set sitting across from me. And Tafsir al-Jalalain is from Jalaluddin al-Suyuti, which was from a later time period than that of Imam Ibn Kathir, whom, by the way, Ibn Kathir submits to the juristic rulings in Al-Mughni because they came after him and they are a theological authority on him in the context of jurisprudence, because Ibn Kathir was in fact from the Hanbali school. But then again, you wouldn't know this because you don't actually study this stuff. You're just someone who talks. It's anyway. As to add to that, I guess if that's okay, if I can have an extra 25 seconds. Judges, moderators, an extra 25 seconds if that's possible.
Yeah, go ahead. We're gonna give you 25 more seconds.
Okay. One moment. Okay. Anyway, so when it came to this, right, he always avoids this. When I mentioned Sunan at-Tirmidhi, chapter section 2, verse 409, where she says that when a girl reaches the age of 9, then hits the age of 9 and reaches puberty, she becomes a woman. He avoids it. He has no way to defend it. And like I said, he won't have any way to defend the context of the situation of the minimum age of consent within the Bible either. And in the next one, I will be going over the historical citations from Imam al-Bayhaqi, and as well as historical notes from al-Shafi'i as well. If we go through Sunan and Kubra and as well as others. Anyway, and with that, I land because of lack of time. My time was up.
Yeah, Nazarene, you can go ahead.
Okay, is it? So he 4 minutes, 30 seconds or 5 minutes? How much is it? 5 minutes?
Yeah, so yeah, go ahead. We give you an extra 20 seconds like you took. Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
5 minutes, I think. I'll start.
Fine.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to start my, let me just stop and reset. Okay. So where I have left off, I will start off again. Now, this is how a Muslim is ashamed of his own prophet, because obviously he was a prophet who has done multiple uh, erotic things, things which can't even be spoken in front of the public. He has done it. For example, it's just when we are speaking about the morality issue, it is not just limited to the child marriage, the child bride, Aisha. It was not even limited to that. He had an adopted son called Zayd. Muhammad used to go to Zayd's house, and one day Zayd was not there. When Zayd was not there, Muhammad saw his wife Zainab naked. Al-Tabari, History of Al-Tabari, Volume 8, page number 4. Muhammad is looking at his own daughter-in-law. He is looking at her naked. She was bare naked. And then Muhammad is lusting after her. The admiration for her entered into the heart of Muhammad. And Muhammad is saying, praise be to Allah who changed people's heart. Allah all of a sudden give him Quran chapter 33 verse number 37. And then what happens? Zayd is divorcing Zainab. Allah is, in some of the references in Imam Qurtubi's tafsir, it says that Allah made Zayd's penis to swell so that Zayd could not even have intercourse with Zainab. And then Zayd divorced Zainab, and Muhammad took Zainab. Now people will start speaking that Muhammad married his own adopted son's daughter. So all of a sudden, Allah is revealing Quran chapter 33, verse number 37, and Allah is making such a filthy act of Muhammad. Okay, fine, that's good, beautiful. This is not even one instance, there are multiple instances. Quran chapter 3, verse I believe it is 161, where there was an instance where a red velvet cloth, I think that would be a woman's underwear, that was missing in the Battle of Badr. And people, the Muslims, started accusing Muhammad on it. All of a sudden, Allah is revealing Quran to him, saying, oh, the prophets would not do such a thing. And if any prophet would do, then they have to bring whatever they have stolen or taken in the last day. And we know from their own hadiths that when Muhammad died, this red velvet cloth was placed on his grave, which proves that Muhammad was also a thief. He used to steal things. We have seen in Aisha's case, multiple references are there, but the children, whom a Muslim can marry, who have not yet menstruated, I will go back to that. I will give you more references. My brother Jace or Warrior will post that in the chat, the link that I have provided. If you go to the Muslim commentaries, please provide that link so that others can also learn from that. One of the commentator, Al-Dak B. Musaim, he says, Al-Dak al-Musaim al-Balki, he says that it is talking about the children. They are not old enough, those who have not yet reached puberty and was touched or consummated. Means basically, these children, they already had been sexually abused by Muslims. It is talking about those. That is one commentator. Qatada B. Dima al-Basri, he is mentioning, and they are those who have not yet menstruated. These children are the ones who have not yet menstruated. Their waiting period for next nikah is 3 months. Islam is a filthy religion that just allows sexual intercourse with little children. Nothing more, nothing less. Another reference, Ismail B. Abd al-Rahman al-Suddi, he also mentions the same thing. He says, the one whose menstruation stopped, her period is 3 months, and those who have not yet menstruated, he said, maids,
One more minute.
maids or young girls. Maids or young girls. So, this is talking about children all throughout. If you read Quran chapter 65 verse 4, this Allah whom Muhammad's imagination has created is allowing little children to be molested. And that is precisely why in Iraq now they are going to bring up a bill where they are going to allow children, 9-year-old girls, to be married off. One more reference that I will give, Abdul Rahman bin Zayd bin Aslam also mentions, and Allah made his mercy also to those who do not have menstruated, the young girls, 3 months. I can give you so many references from Bukhari, from Ibn Jarir al-Tabri, from Ibn Masud al-Mutrudi, multiple al-Tabarani, and so on and so forth. So defend
That's
that,
5 minutes.
Hassan.
If you can wrap it up, thank you. Sweet, thank you, Hassan. Go ahead for 5 minutes.
Okay, so in regards to that, this is the problem that I have with intellectual dishonesty, because if you actually bothered to read the whole thing, which he didn't, go all the way at the bottom of the citation that I brought, and it's brought from Al-Manhaj. It literally says that that in terms of consummation, it applies to those who have reached biological maturity. It is not for those who have not reached it, who are not, and i.e., not capable of bearing it. Because literally it says it all the way at the bottom, and it condemns it. Anyway, because I wasn't, how do I explain this? I wasn't allowed to finish it last time, but anyway, it says Ahl Sunnah are unanimously agreed upon the permissibility of marriage contract without intercourse. Keyword: without. To a young girl, i.e., somebody who has reached puberty. They also unanimously agreed upon the impermissibility of enjoying a young wife until she is able to have intercourse. And this is and the idea that that it is okay to have intercourse with someone who has not reached it is considered something as ugly in the religion of Islam by necessity and rational intuition, and no one would do it except someone who is unjust to himself and arrogant towards his Lord, deserving of punishment, shameless, impudent, and with an inverted nature. This is not doubtful to a rational person whose mind has not been corrupted by desires, nor has following whims and innovation corrupted his intellect. Anyway, that being said, let's talk about the issue between Muhammad sallallahu and Zainab bint Jahsh, for example, because he made a lot of lies and but it's kind of typical of people of his character. When it came to the issue of divorce, because he didn't mention that part, he didn't mention the fact that the Prophet ﷺ advised Zayd bin Haritha to continue to try to keep from divorcing her. He didn't encourage Zayd bin Haritha to divorce Zainab at all. It just reached to the point where there was unreconcilable differences and there was a lot of conflict and problems. And if I may, I can go over the report of Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anh, regarding the issue of that issue. And it said, from عن محمد بن أبي بكر المقدمي عن حمد بن زيد بن ثابت, and Anas bin Malik, narrated by Anas bin Malik radiallahu anh, he said, Zayd bin Haritha came to the Prophet complaining about his wife. The Prophet kept on saying to him, be afraid of Allah and keep your wife. Anas said, quote, if Allah's messenger were to conceal anything, he would have concealed this verse. Quote, Zainab used to boast before the wives of the Prophet and used to say, quote, you were given in marriage by your families, while I was married, quote, to the Prophet by Allah from over the 7 heavens, end quote. And Zayd bin Thabit also recited the verse, but yeah, Muhammad, you hide in your heart which Allah was about to make manifest, you did fear the people. And that's the verse, and that's actually referring to the verse that he was citing
one
earlier.
more minute.
As it was revealed in connection with Zainab and Zayd bin Haritha. And if you guys are wondering, you can find this from, let me see here, from the ones who also narrated it, and there's a total of 9. محمد بن أبي بكر المقدمي، معل بن منصور، Hassan Muslim, Muhammad bin al-Fadl, Abu Nu'man al-Arim, Abdullah bin Abu Wahhab al-Hajbi, who also adds that Zayd wanted to divorce Zainab and had come to consult. This is in another riwayah. Ahmed bin Abdal al-Dhahabi, who also said the same, who also added the same thing as Abdullah ibn Abdul Wahhab. Muhammad bin Sulaiman al-Asadi also said the same thing. Well, no, not the same thing, but also this narration was transferred from him. Also Muhammad bin Musa, also the same thing. Mu'amal bin Ismail also said this as well. And it said that there's also other riwayat and wording regarding other narrations that also coincide with this. And also Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal also records this in his book, in his magnum opus book of hadith, Kitab Musnad Ahmad. And it says in Mu'amal bin Ismail عن Hamad bin Zayd bin Thabit, Anas bin Malik, who said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to Zayd bin Harith's place and saw his wife Zainab.
Please.
Yeah. Can I finish the text, the quote, and then that's it? It's not going to be long.
Yeah. Okay.
I would give the same.
No, and I get it, but I'm trying to stick to the, you know what I mean? Go ahead.
Yeah, this is what I was saying, like, having it as a go-by-go thing, it just not really. Anyway, but he also said the same thing.
We'll set better parameters on the next one. Go ahead.
Okay, all right, that works. Anyway, Zayd bin Haritha came to him complaining of his wife. The Prophet said to him, keep your wife with you and fear Allah. He said the verse that was revealed in which is chapter 33, verse 37, and that verse itself was revealed about Zainab. There was no encouragement at all for him, for Zayd to divorce Zainab. It wasn't a sly little trick. And if you guys would like, I can gather the citations. They're quite long though. Al-Albani also says this in Silsila al-Hadith al-Da'ifa al-Mawdu'a. Also Ibn Adi al-Kamil fi al-Du'afa also says in it, also as well as Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani and in Lisan al-Mizan. So there's a variety of them. And also al-Dhahabi as well, which is in regards to fi al-Ilm al-Mustalah al-Hadith, which is the book on the science of Hadith by Imam al-Dhahabi, who was a contemporary and was a student of Ibn Taymiyyah, like the famous Ibn Kathir as well. But I don't have enough time, so I'll leave it at that.
We'll come back around, don't worry. Go ahead, Nazarene.
So it is 6 minutes and 29 seconds. Okay. So I will start my time now. Okay. So did you guys see how blatantly a Muslim has to lie by saying that, Islam allows the age of puberty? There is no age of puberty in Islam. It does not even say puberty remotely. In Bukhari, volume 7, page number 57, hadith number 5133, it says like this: giving one's young children in marriage is permissible by virtue of the statement of Allah. And for those who have no monthly courses, i.e., are still immature, Quran chapter 65 verse number 4. And the iddah for the girl before puberty is 3 months. Now the hadith is quoting 5:133. If you go to the book, you can see the whole context of it. Hadith 5133, hadith number 5133, narrated Aisha that the Prophet wrote marriage contract with her when she was 6 years old, and he had intercourse with this child. He consummated his marriage when she was 9 years old. She did not even reach puberty. I have already proved that she was playing with dolls. In Islam, a girl child is only allowed to play with dolls unless she has reached the age of puberty. Once she reached the age of puberty, no images can be, used or played with which has face in it. So Aisha was still playing with her dolls. Aisha was still, on her swing, while Muhammad was having intercourse with her when she was 9-year-old child. She did not even reach to puberty. There is no such mention of puberty in Islam. There is not even a need for puberty in Islam. In Islam, a non-menstruating child, a 1 year old, a 2 year old, a 3 year old, a 4 year old child can be given to nikah. And the Shia scholars say, especially Ayatollah Sistani, Ayatollah Khomeini, and all of that. And I know Hassan is not Shia, but still, I'm telling this that these scholars say that these little girls can be enjoyed by a Muslim man by having his male private part between the thighs of this child and then have enjoyment from it. Once she reached the age of 9, then you can have intercourse with that child. It is still pedophilia, and Islam allows it. I have given so many references that Aisha had no idea what was happening to her. You can see that on the chat. You can see that on the previous comments also that I have made. Now, he jumped on to defending Muhammad lusting after his own adopted son's daughter. What did happen there? Hassan, what was the situation? Muhammad is going to Zayd's house. Muhammad is looking at Zayd's wife. Zainab is still naked inside her chamber. You can go to the chat and you can see in Al Tabri, volume 8, page number 4, it clearly mentions that the admiration for her, for his own adopted son's wife, she is not his wife. She is not Muhammad's wife. She is her adopted son's wife. She is not halal for him. Muhammad is lusting after her. You have to see. Now he said that, oh, Muhammad said to Zayd, keep your wife. But Zayd refused. Zayd said, I want to divorce my wife. Because Zayd knew Muhammad's character. If Muhammad's eyes fall on a woman, then the husband must divorce her immediately. That is the scholarly opinion, especially Imam Qurtubi in his tafsir in Quran chapter 33, verse number 50. If you read Imam Qurtubi's tafsir, there are 16 privileges that are given to Muhammad. The 10th privilege that is given to Muhammad is based on this particular instance of Zayd and Zainab, where Imam Qurtubi is mentioning that if a husband and a wife are walking on the street and Muhammad's eyes fall on the wife, then the husband must immediately divorce her and hand it over the wife to the husband, to Muhammad. Now my question is, Hassan, imagine if you are living in the 6th century and you are walking on the street with your wife, your beautiful wife and your children and so on and so forth, and immediately Muhammad's eyes fall on your wife. What will you do, Hassan, as a good Muslim? You have to divorce her. You have to give your wife to Muhammad so that Muhammad can have intercourse with her. Because Muhammad does not even have to give any meher based on Quran chapter 33, verse number 50. Because Muhammad can marry, have nikah with, no, there is no marriage even, have nikah with n number of women, believing women who want to offer themselves. So, Hassan, what would you do? Now, imagine, Hassan, you have a child who is 9 years old. Okay, and Muhammad is coming to your house, and the 53, 56-year-old Muhammad is looking at your child who is 9 years old. And then Muhammad is saying that, Hassan, I want to have nikah with your 9-year-old child. Now, your child has not yet menstruated, because the menstruation cycle even starts for children from 12 and 13. Then also they are not physically capable. What will you do, Hassan? Will you give your 9-year-old child to Muhammad? And I believe that you would do, because Muhammad is equal to Allah based on Quran and your hadiths. Because you have to obey Muhammad and you have to obey Allah. Because in a particular topic, in particular situation, in Quran chapter 33, verse 36, it says, if Allah and Muhammad take a decision, then the believers cannot overrule it. So, Hassan, would you do that? I would want to see your answer on these two particular topics. What would you do in your wife's situation when you're walking on the road, and when your child, if Muhammad enters your house and your child is there, what would you do? Mike is yours, brother.
Go ahead, Hassan.
Is it my turn to speak, or is this rhetorical?
No, it's your turn. You're good. He ended almost a minute and a half early, but we're good.
Okay, it's just a bunch of emotional tirade and demagoguery. But anyway, he merely affirmed my point earlier about the fact that it wasn't even that it was not even encouraged for him to divorce, for Zayd bin Haritha to divorce Zainab. And I brought the various rulings from, well, not rulings, but statements from Musnad Ahmad as well, and statements from Silsila al-Da'ifa, from Sheikh al-Bani, and as well as a variety of things. But regarding to his question, I mean, the idea was put forth originally in terms of marriage by Abu Bakr. Aside from excluding the hadith on the dreams pertaining to it. So he did not request, originally he himself did not request to marry Sayyidina Aisha. So it was done, so this marriage was arranged at the hands of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. As far as you mentioning Sistani, that's not hujjah for me. So that's a pointless matter. Another thing is what he's trying to do is he's trying to word things in a way to get me. I think he's trying to get under my skin. I'm not sure, but at the end of the day, I don't actually care about that. Furthermore, he still refused to answer the fact that you don't find anything in the Bible that talks about the minimum marriage or marital age of consent. He actually completely avoided it. Because of the fact that he can't defend it, it's impossible for him. It's simply impossible. So as a result, what he'll do is he'll go through, like I said, use machine gun tactics, go through a large amount of verses and narrations, and then he'll try to, as in a means to save time or to paint a particular narrative, he will try to make inkar. I'll use inkar of these narrations and verses. Inkar means an interpretation, individualistic interpretation. For those who don't know what inkar means. That being said, though, how much time do I have left? Because I have a feeling I won't have enough time to go
You
through
got about
all of these.
About 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, these back and forths are way too short. That's why he ran away from my first request of it being 10 or 15.
Again, I'll set
But
up.
yeah, if anybody
that,
wants to bring those, but Snippy, in regards to my other earlier statements before, the fact that this wasn't even forced or encouraged, I brought the citations Lizan and Mizan, volume 3, page 112. إصرار السلسلة الحديث الضعيفة والموضوعة from the edition of Dar al-Ma'arif, edition year 1992, section volume 14, section 99, number 6848. Ibn Adi al-Kamil fil Du'afa, volume 4, page 333. Also, as well as al-Dhahabi, Imam al-Dhahabi, and then he says, and it's he quotes it as well. Now, al-Mizzi Ibn al-Hajjaj, Tahdhib al-Kamil, volume 23, page 510. I can keep going and going in regards to the narrations that supported my point. Now, going back to something that was mentioned earlier, do I have, how much extra time do I have?
you got about another minute.
Okay. So if I could have if you guys don't mind, I wouldn't mind going another minute.
Good.
Like two, in other words, 2.5 minutes.
That's fine.
If that's okay with
He'll just add on to
Nazarene.
his, so it'll be all right, I think.
Okay. Yeah, but regarding the issue of the age of Rebecca, he tries to make the claim, carrying buckets of water. He tries to argue that this is simply not possible, and and ironically, many of the rabbis, they don't have an issue with this idea, or the issue of the age factor. And keep in mind, this isn't really an endorsement of pedophilia or anything of the matter. He's just using that as a logical fallacy. It's a character assassination tactic. It's merely just having an intimate understanding of the anthropology of the time period and understanding it through theology. It's not an endorsement or a condemnation of anything. It's just taking it for what it is. But, he seems to not be able to understand such a thing. That being said, I think with the next one I'll go through more quotes from scholarly sources on the matter because, like I said, these type of things require the application of Brandolini's law, and anybody who studied logic knows about the concept of Brandolini's law being known as the BS principle. The amount to refute nonsense requires a magnitude greater than that needed to produce it, as in the case with a discussion like this. Anyway, how much time do I have left, Snippy?
Well, it's over unless you want to add more on.
I mean, that's fine. I'm just waiting for him. I'm just writing everything down anyway.
That sounds great. Let's go ahead and go over to Nazarene then.
Okay. Is it 6 minutes now for me?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay. So thank you so much for proving again, Hassan, that you are self-contradicting yourself. See how he said that, oh, Imam Sistani, Ayatollah Khomeini, these are Shia guys, so they are not hujjah on me. Yeah, I know that it is not
they're
hujjah on
not.
you.
So
But
bringing them, it's
Hassan, no,
irrelevant. It's like me
no,
using
no. Don't pick up
Mormons.
your mic. Don't pick up your mic. Don't
Yeah,
pick up your mic.
let
Don't pick up
them
your mic.
talk. Yeah, I know it's hard,
Don't
but
pick up your mic.
we got to kind of do that.
Yeah. So see how he says they are not hujjah on me. Hujjah means that, they are not authority on me. That is exactly what I'm saying, that these rabbis that you are bringing in, they are not hujjah on me. What is hujjah on me is the Bible, the scripture. Now you, on the other hand, have to prove that the Rebecca that you are bringing, who is a 3-year-old child, she was strong enough to carry so many number of buckets of water going deep down into the well and then pull that water and then bring and give to all of these camels. The other thing that he accused me by saying that, oh, then bring in the evidence that what does the Bible say about the age of marriage. Bible is not a book that is based on sexualization and allowing pedophilia. No, Bible does not do that. That is only available in Islam. That is only done by only one false prophet, who is Muhammad, for his own sexual desire. Bible is very clear about that. If you see it from the start itself, in Genesis chapter 2, where it says, Genesis chapter 2, verse 22, it says, and the Lord God built the rib which he took from Adam into a woman and brought her to Adam. And Adam said, this is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called a woman. Adam is not looking at a small child. And Adam did not lusted after a child and wanted to have intercourse with a child, because God did not bring in a little girl in front of him. God brought a grown-up, a complete woman in front of Adam. Okay, so Bible does not do that. And if you go later on, you can see all of the things above. Again, I mentioned about the Genesis chapter 24, where it's very clearly stating that Bible does not allow pedophilia. And Rebecca and Isaac's case was not even a case of pedophilia. Rebecca she gave her consent for that marriage. Very clearly, Rebecca is giving the consent for her marriage. Okay. Now, the problem with Muslims here is that they are so ashamed of their own scholars. They are so ashamed of their own books. See how he is quoting, all of these fic text, jurisprudence text. I am not even quoting jurisprudence text. I am quoting straight away Hadith Sahih Bukhari 6130, which clearly states that Aisha was allowed to play with dolls and similar
And wait,
images.
real quick, can Nazarene,
Images
can you
is
repeat the
forbidden,
last one?
but it.
Nazarene, can you repeat the last one, please?
I am not
Sorry, I
even
was away. I
quoting
was
any
away.
jurisprudence. I am not quoting any jurisprudence. I am quoting you from your own text. I am quoting from Sahih
Nazarene, I'm
Bukhari.
asking you to repeat earlier. I was away.
Snippy, what is this happening?
He didn't.
Why is he getting involved here?
Wait, just wait, just wait.
I
So
was trying to.
yeah,
I
he
had
just wants to know
go
what
No,
verse
you
away
do
you were
not
for a
have
quoting.
to.
He didn't
second.
catch it. That's all.
Yes.
He just wanted to know what verse you were quoting because he didn't hear it. So if you can just repeat that part, then go ahead and keep going. You should be, yeah, you should be on mute. Go ahead and keep going, Nazarene. You still got another 3.5 minutes. You should be good, Nazarene.
Yeah, I was muted. So, again, I have already quoted the scripture portion in Genesis chapter 24. I have quoted the scripture portion from Genesis chapter 2, which clearly states that it is a woman, it's not a child. Bible does not have pedophilia. Bible does not allow children to be married. You can see when Jesus is raising up a child, a 12-year-old child, Jesus is calling her Talitha Kum, little girl. Jesus is not referring to a 12-year-old as a woman. So in the Jewish concept also, a 12-year-old is still a child, a little girl. But in Islamic concept, a 1-year-old child is also, she can be also given for nikah. And when she reached the age of 9, you know, the Muslim man, a 50, 55, 60, 70-year-old man, can have intercourse with a little child. Now, the problem is not even, here. The problem is multifaceted. The morality of Muhammad is multifaceted. The morality of Muhammad is so deep down that if you look at the life of Muhammad and his relationship with his own daughter, Fatima, it is more horrible. It is more horrible to the level that Muhammad used to suck the tongue of his own daughter. Let me quote from his own books. Now, it is Hujjah for you. You cannot say this is not Hujjah. This is from Al-Tabri, Muhib al-Din, page number 36, which is in where, Aisha herself is saying, and she is saying this, okay? It says like this, Muhammad, he used to kiss her in her mouth and suck her tongue on the authority of Aisha. Muhib al-Din, Al-Tabri's book, Muhib al-Din. Let me quote one more. This is from the Book of the Questioner's Trust, including Fatima's Virtue and Virtues, Abdul Rauf al-Manawi's book, page number 91, where it says that Muhammad is asking Fatima to come closer, and Fatima comes closer. Muhammad says, come closer a little bit more. And then Muhammad spread his fingers, and then he placed his palm between her breast. Muhammad is pressing his hands between the breast of his own daughter, and then he is raising his head. You can see that Muhammad used to suck the tongue of Fatima, his own daughter, which no prophet has ever done. See how he was not even capable enough to come close to touching Paul. He could not even do that. But Muhammad used to suck the tongue of his own daughter. He is trying to justify the illicit marriage of
Got one more
Muhammad
minute.
and his own adopted son Zayd's wife, Zainab. He is trying to defend it. He is not even touching the fact that I mentioned that Muhammad looked at her with admiration, and the admiration for her, the lust for her, entered the heart of Muhammad. And that is when Quran chapter 33, verse number 37 has been revealed in that context. In Bible, we cannot see any such instance where God is revealing scriptures based on the lust of a prophet. God is condemning that again and again and again. So, brother, the topic is in the morality of Muhammad and Apostle Paul. You did not even touch the topic, and I've been exposing again and again. I want you to touch Paul, because once you touch Paul, you know that your own scriptures will completely decimate you. So thank you so much.
Go ahead.
Oh, so the Bible doesn't endorse lustful acts? What about when it comes to to having concubines, acquiring concubines? Because I'm gonna ask you a question. Nazarene, come on, Nazarene. I've got a question for you. Do you believe that Jesus is also the God of the Old Testament? Yes or no?
Are we having a rapid fire right now?
Nazarene, just answer the question. Yes or no?
Are we
I
having a
agree with
rapid
you
fire
guys.
right now?
And Nazarene,
Go ahead,
answer the
Hassan, you
Nazarene.
do
question.
not
Yes or no?
Don't
you do
speak
not
over each
dictate the
other.
debate, brother.
I
You
mean,
do
if we
not
want a
dictate the
rapid fire, we
debate.
can do that. Let's do a 10-minute rapid fire. Actually, no,
Now,
let's do
are
15.
you going to do a rapid fire right now?
I'm just simply answering a question. Is it? Well, asking you a question.
So
Yes, a simple yes or no. Do you
are you
hold
saying that Torah and
Nazarene, listen,
Gospels are
Nazarene.
corrupted?
Just answer the question.
Hassan,
Don't be cowardly. Do you
yeah, I'm
believe
answering you.
that Jesus
I'm
is the
answering to
God of
your
the Old
question.
Testament? Yes or no?
I'm answering to your question. Do you think
No,
that the
you're
Torah
not.
and the
You're
Gospels are
running.
corrupted?
You're running.
No, I'm
You're
not
running.
running.
Yes
I'm not
or
Prophet
no? It's
Muhammad.
very simple.
I'm
Nazarene,
not Prophet
yes or
Muhammad.
no? Do you
Muhammad
hold that
ran
Jesus is the
away,
God of the Old Testament?
Hassan,
Answer the
brother,
question.
I want
brother
to hear
Hassan.
Well,
Hassan
Snippy, he's
ask his
trying to
question,
run.
and then we're going to go hear Nazarene's answer. So, Hassan, ask your question once, and then we're going to go to Nazarene.
I asked him, does he believe that Jesus is the God of the Old Testament? Yes or no?
All right, there you go. Go.
It's a very simple question.
Without interrupting him, let him answer.
It's a simple. He should just give a simple, straightforward
Yeah, but
answer.
let him answer it the way he wants. So, respectfully.
Yeah, you do
If
not
he,
dictate how I
yeah,
answer.
But
I'll answer.
he's gonna try to run around it.
understand.
No, Hassan.
Let him do it.
I'm not. See how he has not
Yeah,
even
I
addressed to
get it.
any of the topics that I have mentioned.
Oh,
None of the
Nazarene. Oh,
topics
don't
that
worry. I
I have
am Nazarene.
brought.
Hassan,
Not
You,
even
if you
about the
were no,
pedophilia.
listen. If you weren't afraid,
all right, let Nazarene speak. We're not going to go back and forth like that. Nazarene, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So you see how a Muslim has to run to the Bible and say, "Oh, is Jesus the God of the Bible in the Old Testament?" Yahweh is the God of the Bible. And yes, Jesus is Yahweh. But the problem with Muslim is the moment he attacks the Old Testament, he is basically saying that Allah and Muhammad are liars because Muhammad asked the Jews to bring their Torah and he placed his hand over it and he placed the Torah, the book, on the
that
pillow.
hadith
And then he
is
said, I
actually weak.
believe,
But
and I'm
okay.
not completed. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
Well, the thing is I
I'm not
gave
done yet.
you
I'm
a
not done yet.
question
I'm
and
not
you
done yet.
said
Stop
yes, that
crying.
he's the God
Stop
of the Old
crying.
Testament.
Hassan, you got to let him finish. You asked him a question. I understand it's hard to hear somebody all the way out, but please let him finish, and then you can respond. Thank you. Nazarene, go ahead.
So I want Hassan to go and attack the Old Testament and go and attack the Bible, because if he attacks the Old Testament, if he attacks the Torah, the first 5 books, and the Tanakh altogether, he is basically saying that Allah and Muhammad are lying, because Allah is saying that I am giving you Quran, making the Torah and the Injil musaddiqan. Allah is making the Torah and the Injil as musaddiqan. Basically, Allah is confirming the Torah and the Injil and revealing Quran. So if he says that Allah is lying, then I'm okay with it. If he is saying that in the Torah, in the Old Testament, there are certain things which are bad, basically he is saying that his prophet is a false prophet, because his prophet placed his hand over it and said, I believe in thee and the one who revealed this. So is your prophet lying at that point of time, Hassan? That is my answer. Go ahead. Attack.
Hassan, you got your full time, so go ahead and use whatever you want.
Okay. I noticed how instead of giving a simple answer, you had to go on a long tirade and then go to what I like to call the fallacy of goal posting. Anyway, so he said that Jesus is the God of the Old Testament. Okay, cool. And he also said, and the reason why I brought this up, right, because he mentioned that the Bible itself does not endorse lustful actions. It does not endorse people acting on lustful actions. When the fact of the matter is that in the Old Testament, it's actually endorsed multiple times. Like in the case of Moses, when they go for the Amalekites, or in the case of Deuteronomy chapters 21 and verses 10 to 19, where it talks about when you go to a war against your enemies and the Lord your God delivers them into your hands and you take captives. Verse 11, if you notice among the captives a beautiful woman and are attracted to her, you may take her as your concubine. Bring her into your home and shave her head, trim her nails, put aside the clothes she was wearing when captured. It endorses taking women in war as concubines. There's nothing he can do to get away with that. It's simply unavoidable. Moving in further, and that's the reason why I mention this. And if we talk about, for example, the ideas of lustful actions, it also endorses the Bible, also endorses bloodlust. When we're talking about when it's talking about killing the Amalekites. But how much time do I have, Snippy?
You have
Snippy.
about 2.5, almost 3 minutes.
Yeah, for example, if we go into 1 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 3, when it says, now go and attack the Amalekites and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them, put them to death, men and women, children, infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys. So not only does the Bible itself endorse lustful actions in terms of desire, but it also endorses bloodlust, reckless bloodlust. Or in the case of the Quran, with the Quran and Sunnah, it does not allow the deliberate attacking of women and children, or in the deliberate slaughter of livestock. And you won't find it in any authentic isnad where it says that women and children are allowed to be deliberately attacked and targeted. But chances are, knowing him, he's going to try to use the hadith of regarding collateral damage. But he'll avoid the verse, the narrations afterward, where it talks about the prohibition. But that being said, when it comes to these topics, why do you keep saying that I'm ashamed? I'm not. There's really nothing for me to be ashamed about. I simply don't hold to the shaming tactics that you resort to. I just hold them to be non-arguments. I'm not a modernist by any means. No, I don't enjoy children, even though that you would probably try to say that. I don't hold to these viewpoints. These are just fallacious talking points and they're not arguments. So, going on to that, you haven't managed to talk about anything pertaining to age of consent because age of consent does not even exist in the Bible. You will find not a single verse that talks about it. As a matter of fact, you have a variety of church fathers, at least the ones that did marry or had women, that would marry women that were quite young. And if I have more time later on, I can bring up names of these people. And no, you can't say that these are. You can't argue and say that these are fallacious talking points because some of these are authoritative to the legitimacy of said scripture because your version of scripture, according to you guys, it was passed down by some of these patriarchs. Not to mention the fact where you talk about the fact of the prophet endorsing the Bible and the Quran. I actually wrote a chapter refutation against this. If I can't go through all of it, but it goes through the fact that this is a nonsensical talking point according to the Quran and Sunnah itself. So I will provide that as well. But that being said, Snippy, how much further do I have?
You can go another minute or two if you want, then we'll give him equal time. Do you need a little bit more time?
The thing is, he wants if he wants Crossfire, I'd love to do that. Better yet, I'm gonna ask, can we make it a 10-minute crossfire?
It's 9:50.
I'd love a 10-minute crossfire.
We'll go to 9:51. Do you mind if he go ahead and start since you just finished?
I mean, with are we talking about like crossfire, or what are we doing here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Crossfire
I'm
means
sure
both
he's
of
okay
us
with that.
talking.
I have to give a rebuttal
By the
now.
way, so 10 minutes.
Sounds good to me.
I have to give a rebuttal now, and then we can have a crossfire.
How many rebuttals has there been done total?
I haven't been counting. Just let him respectfully let him rebut, and then if you want your crossfire,
Okay,
you can start the
I'm not
crossfire.
sure.
Go ahead, man.
Okay, how many minutes for the rebuttal?
6 minutes.
Okay.
So can I
By the
start?
way,
Snippet?
one last thing. By the way, Tafsir ibn Kathir refutes the notion about the prophets Hassan endorsing the Bible. If you read it in the Tafsir Surah Al-Baqarah, it goes into that. So it's in this first and second volume, as well as Tafsir Al-Ma'idah. It goes into that as well. So yeah.
Go ahead, Nazarene. Your 6 minutes starts now.
So, my dear audience, this is what happens when a Muslim comes, and start lying about the Bible. Did you hear Hassan lying about the Bible? Did you see how he blatantly, like his false prophet Muhammad, he also lied the same thing? Because Muhammad allowed lying. It is allowed for a Muslim to lie in three cases. In case of a Muslim man lying to his wife, a Muslim man can lie in case of a war, or a Muslim man can lie to bring in peace. This is what is happening. He is lying. Did you hear him lie by saying that God is allowing to marry or make concubines? He said concubines. Deuteronomy chapter 21. If you would have read here, you would have known, Hassan. Stop using these taqiyya, these unnecessary, blatant lying tactics. It's not going to help. Deuteronomy chapter 21. Let me read it for you. I know that you are like your false prophet, but let me read it for you. If thou go to fight against thy enemies, and the Lord thy God deliver thee them into thy hand, and thou lead them away captive, and seest in the number of the captives a beautiful woman, and lovest her, means if you love her, and wilt have her to wife. If you want to take her as your wife, not as concubines. Concubines are there in Quran chapter 4, verse number 24, where Allah is allowing to rape women in front of their husbands. My dear brother warrior is going to post a reference for you where Quran chapter 4, verse 24 was being revealed in connection with raping women in front of their husbands, pagan husbands. I will read it for you. You said, oh, Quran does not allow to abuse women and children, to unalive, kill women and children. I'm going to bring that also. Listen to this, Hassan, and very carefully listen, because this is a Sahih Hadith, and this is bringing the true nature of Muhammad from your own text, and you should be ashamed of your own prophet. Okay, listen to this. This is what it is saying. Sunan Abu Dawud 2155, it says like this. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri said that the Prophet, the Apostle of Allah, sent a military expedition to Awtas on the Battle of Hunain. They met their enemies and fought with them. They defeated them and took them captives. Some of the companions of Apostle of Allah were reluctant to have relations with the female captives because of their pagan husbands. The husbands were also there. Okay, so the companions were reluctant. Oh, we do not want to have intercourse with these women because their pagan husbands are there. What happens? Okay, we will go further. It says like this: because of their pagan husbands. So Allah the Exalted sent down the Quranic verse: all married women are forbidden unto you, except those whom your right hand possess. If your right hand possess women are even married, it does not even matter. You can have intercourse with them. What is this? What exactly is this? This is called as Islam. Snippy, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Snippy, am I audible?
I think Hassan lost volume. I also lost my co-host. I'm trying to get him back up here.
No, I actually
Right.
somehow my thing crashed and I got taken out of the thing. So
All right.
I just heard
So let
something
me
about
finish.
Something happened because I also lost my
I
co-host.
will. Yeah, I will go ahead and complete that.
I don't know,
So
but
you
let me
said that
see.
what
I'll
you
see if I can
Hassan, let me finish
attach
that.
it to my computer if that's fine with you guys. Because this is the second time that there's been a crash, or third. Was it second or third?
Okay.
Face
This is
crashed
annoying.
once, but I haven't had any issues since the first time.
Yeah, well, mine crashed. I guess something happened for Nazarene's crash as well earlier.
Well, yeah, but now it's working fine for me, so I don't have any issue. Well, anyway, moving on to Sunan Abu Dawud 2155, where
What
Allah's apostle
what
is
did you
giving.
say before Battle of Hunain, by the way? Because it crashed before you mentioned Battle of Hunain, and I came back.
In the Battle of Hunain,
I'm gonna give you extra time,
when
Nazarene,
Muhammad.
to read
Yeah,
over.
yeah. You just give him
Okay.
extra time. I didn't get a chance to even hear it.
Okay, can you tell me how much time do I have left? Snippy, can you tell me how much time do I have left?
Just take what you need, man.
Okay,
I'm sure he's understanding because you have to read
So,
over stuff.
okay, I will read the hadith again because he said that in Islam you cannot actually kill or hurt women and children, but I am showing
I
you
said
that Allah and
explicitly.
Muhammad.
I said
Hassan,
explicitly.
I did not jump when
At
you were
least be
speaking.
no. At least
I want
be
you
honest,
to show
Nazarene.
the
At least be
decency. I
honest.
want you to show decency of please muting your mic while I am talking. I know it is difficult for you. At least give some decency of it. In the Battle of Hunain,
He's just trying to get clarification.
when they met their enemies and fought with them, they defeated them and took them captive. Sunan Abu Dawud 2155. And you can see that Brother Jace is posting the screenshot of it in the chat. They met their enemies and fought with them. They defeated them and took them captives. Some of the companions of Apostle of Allah were reluctant to have relations with female captives because of their pagan husbands. So Allah the Exalted sent down the Quranic verse, all married women are forbidden unto you, say, except those, or you say, save those captives whom your right hand possesses. So married women, if they are captive, it does not matter. You can go ahead and rape them because no married woman in clear conscience will allow another man to have intercourse with her when her husband is alive. So basically, Allah is allowing rape. Are you okay with that? Bible does not allow that. Bible is very clear on that. When you capture the women, in that particular battle in Deuteronomy chapter 21, you can see that you give time for them to mourn. And if you love her, then you can take her as your wife. It is a marriage relationship. It is an honorable marital relationship that Bible is allowing. How Hassan blatantly lied, and he said it is talking about taking her as a concubine. No, it is not. So Hassan, you have lied again. Again, he mentioned that Islam does not allow of the killing of the children, but Muslims used to do that all over again and again. And then Muhammad used to say that they are of them. Where does it say that? I will give you the reference. Sahih Muslim, Hadith number 1745b. 1745b. It says like this. Narrated Saad bin Jatama that he said, the messenger of Allah, we killed the children of the polytheists during the night raid. He said, they are from them. They are from them. It does not matter, because they are polytheists. How does it make any difference? Again, one more evidence. It is Sunan Ibn Majah 2839, where it says, it was narrated that Ibn Abbas said, Sa'ab bin Jatama said, the Prophet was attacked about the polytheist. The Prophet was asked about the polytheists who were attacked at the night. Okay, and what does happen? Sunan Ibn Majah 2839, it says, the Prophet was asked about the polytheists who were attacked at night and their women and children are killed. He said, they are from among them, it does not matter. So Muhammad killed, a woman, a lady who had five children. Five children. One of the child was lying on the breast. Her name was, her name Asma ibn Marwan. Asma ibn Marwan. And Muhammad asked a person, his Sahabi, to go and kill this lady, while the children were there. Muhammad even raped a woman who later on became his wife. Her name was Safiya bint Hunayn. Muhammad even did not give the 3 months of idda for her. Muhammad raped her from from Khyber to Medina. That is what Muhammad did. Muhammad did not, because in Islam, you have to give the time period of idda, the waiting period. In Quran chapter 65, verse number 4, it says that you have to give the idda. Muhammad did not give it. Muhammad did not give the waiting period for Safiya, because she, Muhammad killed her brother, killed her.
Hello, I can't hear anything.
Snippy, am I audible?
Hello, I can't hear
Hassan,
anything.
Can you guys hear
hear
me?
anything? I'm gonna drop you back
I can
down
hear
and
you.
bring you
Okay.
back up. Yeah, but if Hassan can't hear, he's got to drop down and come back up.
Okay.
I think that is his issue, Snippy. That I can't do this, over and over again. He's having connection issues. That's not my problem, brother Sippy. But I think that we have established the point about the morality of Muhammad, and he has not even touched once on the morality of Apostle Paul, because Paul has been an excellent example.